Hey everybody, welcome to Prop Live, your weekly prop and costume making Q&A session. Today with one of our very favorite guests, Commander Holly.
Hello.
From hollyconrad.com. You may know her from the internet.
Yeah, one of those places.
Holly, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I just hustled through some LA traffic to get back home from doing bird stuff.
Doing bird stuff.
Doing bird stuff, yeah. And that was pretty much it. So it's also it's really hot today. It's gross. It's really not fun, but
No.
you know.
Down in the old Los Angeles, which I was down there a while ago. I got to go check out your bird sanctuary of a backyard.
You did. Yeah, we made a tiche, the staff, CAD staff, which I still have to edit and put on my channel, which I'm working on. So
awesome.
Look forward to that, you guys.
That was really fun. I am stoked to see that when it comes out. But we got to work together on a fun project.
Yeah.
We knocked it out in just an afternoon, and made it. And what's the costume going to be for?
So I'm just gonna be like a lady version of Khadgar. I love Khadgar. So I'm just like, well, I'm just gonna crossplay and be girl Khadgar because who cares?
Yeah,
everyone loves Silver Fox Khadgar.
Oh, of course, that was fun. I mean, I played lots and lots of World of Warcraft, and I remember when that staff came out. It was one of the first legendaries that a mage could get, and I had a mage, but I couldn't get. We couldn't do Nax. Vanilla WoW. Nax.
Yeah, I did Nax. It was real rough.
It was really. They had to bring it back again later so that people could actually beat it. But I never got that staff in the game, so it was really satisfying to build it.
Yeah, no, it's true. I didn't either. Like all the stuff I've made for WoW costumes, like I made the tier 5. Well, I got it later on when I became like level 90 because one of my first costumes was a tier 5 undead warlock. I made it in like 2006.
Yeah.
And like I never had the armor in the game until I was like level 90 and could just like go and just like one man
I did that for a while with my warrior. I went back and ran Molten Core every single week to try and get the Hand of Rag.
Yeah.
And I only ever got half of Thunder Fury. Either one. I would have been happy with either one. But I never got the drop. But I would just run. I was a gnome, a tiny little gnome, just one-shotting everything in Molten Core. That felt great.
Yeah, totally.
In case anyone at all doesn't follow what Holly does, you can go to hollyconrad.com and check out everything that Holly's been working on. Lots of pretty pictures on the website here. But you've been doing all kinds of YouTube, haven't you?
Oh God, yeah. I've been doing a lot of stuff. I mean, mostly it's kind of interesting because cosplay sort of, I guess in a way, turned into a job for me for a while because I did work at actual like special effects studios doing like I did a lot of stitching, like hand stitching for like Disney walk around costumes and stuff. So I kind of like I lost, and especially Heroes of Cosplay, which was just like traumatic for me. So like after all of that, I kind of like I moved making stuff to like the back burner for a while and just started doing YouTube, which was super fun because I could do tutorials, I could do gaming, I could do all kinds of stuff. So that's where I ended up going. But now I've started going back into making stuff again because it's just been more enjoyable. Like it's more of just like going back to just doing it for fun. Like no one's telling me what to do. It's just like, oh boy, I'm just going to make something, which is ultimately what all of our dream is when we make stuff.
Exactly.
I want to make something. I'm going to make it.
Yeah, that's one of my next projects. I bought a little radio control car, and I'm going to make it look like a little Mad Max car.
Right,
and no one's paying me to do it. I was just like, that seems like a really fun idea. So I'm doing it, and no one can stop me.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I feel. Like I'm just gonna make some. I'm just gonna do it. I don't care if anyone cares what it is. I'm just gonna do it.
Speaking of your Doctor Strange in the background there, did you see that our buddy Steven Meisner is gonna be building his amulet?
Yes, I saw him post that he said he was going to do Dr. Fate's helmet or the Eye of Agamotto, and I was like, well, I know my choice, but but that's awesome. Yes, he's going to do a great job. He's like amazing with all of those detailed kind of things. And I'm just like, I don't know how he does it.
What do you bet he gets it gold plated?
Oh, he's gold. Oh, you know he's gonna get it gold plated. He gets everything gold plated. He's got his connections for all that.
Yeah, he does. He does. I'm excited to see that.
And I know he's probably gonna sculpt it by hand too, which is just amazing.
Yeah, because you and I had talked about maybe building one of those, but if Steven's gonna make it, then just let him do it.
Yeah, I'll just get it from Steven. From like I said to you, like that amulet is not in my skill set. Like if I made it, it would just look like a hot mess. It would look like a hot mess for sure. Like unless I wanted it to look like real like spooky and janky, because then it would look great. But
there you go. Yeah, I defer to my more talented friends sometimes, so I totally understand.
Yeah, it's like your skill set. It's like what you love doing and what you enjoy doing and what like if I make this, I'm gonna have fun and it's gonna look great. Versus like if I make this, I'm gonna want to die. It might look okay.
Let's see, what else do we have here? You've been playing D&D?
Yes, yeah, that's been super fun actually. I've been doing one of the official online Wizards of the Coast games, and that they do on their Twitch every Tuesday.
That's cool.
That's been awesome. Yeah, and Chris Perkins is our DM, and he's just amazing.
Yeah, I'm pretty jealous. Pretty jealous.
He's brutal, man. Like some of the stuff, like I've almost fallen off a cliff. Like I've like it's been great. It's been super funny.
That's cool. Yeah, we get to watch whenever we can. We'll watch the Acquisitions Incorporated games that he runs with the Penny Arcade guys, and that's always a really good time.
Yeah, oh, those are amazing. I did my research before I started our game with him to just be like, all right, what's he gonna pull on me? So I was like rewatching all the games. So funny.
Cool. Let's see. One other thing. When I was at your place, I got a handful of these little guys, your little Orph statues.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You painted him. It looks so good.
I did. I painted mine to look like Ender. One of our chat people won that, so that got mailed off.
Oh, that's awesome.
But that was really fun. I wanted to point people towards your Etsy store. You had some stuff for sale there, but it's gone. It's all sold.
Yeah, well, it's like it's really hard for me to keep it in stock, which is great.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
That's not exactly a problem, but I think I'm going to start making a bunch of stuff and then putting it on there because also right now I have these little bird feather necklaces, and it's because all my birds are molting right now, so I get a lot of their feathers and I can wash them and then make little necklaces. But they only donate so many feathers at a time.
Yeah. So, come on, birds, start pulling your weight.
Yeah, and so now I'm going to go back to probably making some more little familiars and stuff because they've gone through their summer molt, so they're sort of done with that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Next year or season, I guess.
It is worth keeping an eye on Holly's Twitter feed or on Etsy there because stuff does pop up. You did some drawings a while back. I was excited because I was on Twitter like that in the hour that you posted it. And I was like, I want one.
Yeah, you got one.
I actually got one. Yeah, those things go quick.
Those con ticket buying skills.
Oh yeah. Keep refreshing the page. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
All right. Before we dive into the questions, I have two things I want to throw at you guys in case you missed them up on YouTube. We got a buddy local here who goes by the 3D printing nerd named Joel. And I went and I played at his house the other day because we're grown ass men and we play with toys in the garage.
Awesome.
We each did a video. So he did a video on his channel where I helped him sand and paint and finish 3D printed Harry Potter wands.
Oh, that's sweet.
Seems like a perfectly normal thing for two 30-ish year old men to do. And then I got to test a whole bunch of different 3D printing filament because Joel's got a bunch of that stuff and a bunch of different printers. At one point, we had 4 3D printers all going at the same time.
Oh, that's crazy.
Which was cool. So we'll link all those in the show notes, but those are all worth checking out, especially if you're into 3D printing. That's what I've been up to this week, along with another project that I can't talk about yet, but I'm really excited about.
So fancy.
Oh, yeah. Do you hear that, Harrison? I have secret projects, too.
You guys fighting over secret projects?
No, I'm losing.
Oh no.
So much. All right. Hey, let's answer some questions. You ready?
I'm ready.
Awesome.
I'm so ready.
Good, because the first one's for you. This is from Kormori? No, he may cosplay. I can't pronounce those words, but I try. Let's see. Hi, Holly. As a bird lover, do you have any recommendations of places to purchase feathers for use on costumes that are humanely sourced?
Oh man, that's really hard because the answer is none of them. Unfortunately. Yeah, I used to actually make a lot of things with feathers a while ago. I did quite a few projects with feathers. And then when I was looking for them, I sourced a bunch of things and I was like, oh no, none of this is good. So really the best way if you want to get feathers is to find friends with chickens or reach out to sanctuaries. Like there's a lot of farm sanctuaries out there that have chickens, and ask them, hey, if you have some chicken feathers, can I just like take them off your hands? Because they have a lot. Like, I mean, I have a lot of feathers for my pigeons, so I kind of just save them, to keep them. But ultimately, when it comes to that, your best bet, if you want to know they're from something that's totally cruelty free, is to just make fake ones, which is actually really easy and super fun if you use foam, like really thin foam. I've actually been doing a bunch of experiments because for Khadgar, he has a bunch of like thin foam kind of like scale things. And I've been working on some ways to take plaster molds, make them into a press, and press details into really thin foam.
Yeah.
And you can do that to make feathers. So you can sculpt a feather, and pretty much, and then just mold it double sides, make a press, heat the foam with a heat gun, and then press it, and then you've got a fake feather. That's what I'm going to be doing for my moonkin that I'm making too, is using pretty much foam to make fake feathers. Plus, then they don't deteriorate. They don't get ruined, and they kind of match that video game sort of look. So that's sort of, that's my best advice.
Very good. Yeah, make your own. I would use my laser.
Yeah, you could do that too. Yeah, you could do that too. Totally.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you for the question. Next one comes from Bad Luck Fox. What are some techniques that you would use for making something look organic or like scale hides? Similar to the feathers. If you're doing, let's say, scales, right, for a costume, how would you go about doing that?
It depends on what it's supposed to go on, really. I mean, it depends on is it going on, say, like a torso piece or something that's supposed to be like cloth, like mobile? Like, is it supposed to be like a dragon skin doublet or something versus like, is it a piece of texture on like armor? Like if it's texture on armor, you could start, by making it out of foam and then just, doing the regular foam thing and carving it and dremeling it and doing all that stuff. If it's on fabric, that's a little bit trickier because obviously it needs to like stretch or be part of your actual costume. And that just really depends. Like that's a little bit more difficult because it's part of your body. So then, I mean, you can use like...
Oh. Uh-oh. Looks like Holly cut out. We'll wait a second and call her back. Derp. Coming back. Just like that. With the, if I was doing, where was it? I'm going to have to find a link, but there was someone that was showing how to do scales in foam.
Hi.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There was someone who was showing how to do scales in foam and attach it to fabric. I'll have to find a link for that and throw it in the show notes. I think it was like, I can't remember what adhesive that they were using, but there was a video. Maybe I can find it right now. And foam scales on fabric. Nope. We'll try and grab Holly back there. Oh, CorSec props, of course, our very own. Here is the video right there. Boop. There we go. It's like scale mail on...
Jonathan Bowen here from CorSec Props.
Yeah, and showing how to do... There's the fabric and gluing on layers of foam scales, which is really cool. So I will put a link to that in the show notes. I'll also dump it in the chat so you guys can go check it out. Oh, CorSec Props already linked it. Very good. Very good. Thank you, sir. You're on top of it. Let's try and give Holly a call back. Yeah, CorSec Props. If you don't want people to see your face, don't put videos of yourself on the internet. Or you could be like Dankwish and just dress up like a ninja all the time. Cover your face. I don't know that I need the ringing noise. Call is not going through. Well, while we're waiting for Holly, I will grab another question. Let's go with... That's not going out. All right. This one comes from Droobles. Sometimes I stop myself from doing a project because I don't want to screw up the material. Whether it's a cool piece of wood or an antique I want to repurpose. Have you ever had a problem with being too precious with something that's prevented you from even starting? And how would you go over that? Most of what I build is made from raw materials that are plentiful. MDF, EVA foam, wood, poplar wood, stuff that I can run to the store and buy. Oh, there we go. So I don't really worry too much about the material being too precious because it's replaceable. Sometimes I'll build something, I don't know. I build everything from scratch. There usually comes a time though in a project when you're making that one final like irreversible step. You know, you're gluing two major pieces together, or you've worked a whole bunch on one piece, and then you've got to, you know, cut into it permanently, and there's no going back at that point. And you're worried about maybe damaging it. What I do is I revel in that moment when there's no turning back. You're about to make an irreversible decision. Oh, let me see here. We're trying to get Holly back on the old thing. Weird. Oh, there we go.
There I am.
There we go. It's cool.
I'm sorry.
This
computer is so busted.
I just kept answering questions in your stead. So you were talking about scales, and
yes.
There's a good video that one of our chat members put together making like armored scales and gluing them to fabric. So I just linked to that. So we're all good.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, because I was talking about how it would be harder if you need them to stretch or something like that. That's a little bit more difficult.
Let's grab the next one, which is...
I'm going to change my computer settings so it no longer turns off in 15 minutes. I don't know why it's doing that.
The next one, let's see here. This one's for Holly. How do you go about sewing a bodysuit or something like your Strix costume as someone who is beginning making costumes and has very little sewing experience? Oh.
My way of sewing is very guerrilla style because I was not taught professionally how to sew. So one of the ways that I do it is I take apart things that already fit me. So if I buy a bodysuit online and it fits me, then I can go in there and take a stitch ripper and literally just take it apart and then just remake it in a different material. That's how I learned to sew, is just taking things apart. I sew more like sculpting than I sew versus patterning. So I kind of sew just based off of like shape and fit and that kind of stuff. And it's not the right way to do it at all, but it works great for what I do. There's no way I could sew a jacket because that involves like tailoring. But when it comes to like bodysuits and things like that, that's great. And underneath my Strix costume is just normal clothes. I just have a black tank top, some like harem pants I bought off of Amazon, and some leggings, and I just tore them all up and made them all interesting. And then on top of it is a bunch of like things that I sewed and created, like leather bits and a bunch of other like just sewn parts. But none of it was really complicated at all. It was all just kind of just sort of organically pieced together, especially for stuff that's like that's supposed to look old. That's super fun. You can just go crazy on it. But it's totally okay to find things that work with a costume on Amazon or whatever, and then alter them or take them apart and remake them in whatever fabric you need, because that's really the best way to do it, I think, especially because it helps you learn too.
I agree. Most of the undersuits I've used for my costumes have been repurposed for like space costumes, just repurposed athletic clothing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like whatever works. Like there's no right or wrong way. I mean, I feel like there are some contests and things like that. Like if you're competing in cosplay where they like want you to sew the bodysuit, and in that case, like obviously, if you want to be like, yeah, I sewed it, great. Like again, you can take apart the pattern and make it out of your own material.
Yeah.
And there you go, you're done.
I did pick up when I was at Joann's. I picked up the Yaya Ultimate Bodysuit Dude.
Oh yeah.
Bodysuit pattern. So I'm gonna try. I've never tried that before. I don't know what costume I might need it for, but I have the pattern now, so I'm gonna give it a try.
Nice. Yeah, I want to try her pattern too. It's got some interesting panels on it.
Yeah.
It's more complicated than the one that I usually do, which is literally just like the sack version of a bodysuit.
Cool. All right. Thank you. Let's see. That question came to us from Nicole. Next one coming in from Robert. He's looking to buy a Dremel, and he's a little daunted because there's so many to pick from. He's wondering if we have any suggestions to get the most bang for the buck. Do you have a favorite Dremel, Holly?
I just kind of go with just the regular Dremel, like just the regular I'd say that the corded ones are better. I mean, I think not having a cord is really cool. I do have a cordless. I think I have a different brand one. It's not a Dremel brand. It's a different brand. But I have one cordless one, and I have corded ones. And even though it's inconvenient to have a cord, like the cordless ones just lose their charge too fast for me. Like if I'm going to do something, the cord doesn't really get in the way. So, and it's cheaper.
Yeah. I prefer the corded ones. I mean, I splurged on a Fordham, which is amazing, but also uber expensive. I just found, and we'll link to this in the show notes here, but I just found this on Amazon. It's some off-brand rotary tool, but it's $21.
Oh, wow.
It's got 4.5 stars, 1,700 customer reviews. Hard to go wrong. It comes with a flexible shaft and a crap load of bits, and it's corded. So
that's awesome.
Hard to go wrong with that. It's not a Dremel brand one, but I'm willing to bet that, especially for your first one, that's going to do everything you need it to.
Yeah,
I will link that. Ted's throwing links in the chat too. We'll put that in the show notes for you guys later on. But oops, and I screwed up. Let me fix the notes, and there we go. Cool. Sorry, Britt. Brittany and I are both we're both in the dock, and I'm totally just cut her text in half. All right, there you go, Robert. Go get yourself that kit. It looks pretty awesome. Hey, Terry's sending us a question. Terry's working on a dubstep gun right now. I'm pretty excited to see that turn out.
Nice.
First, he wants to thank Holly for being such a great example for the cosplayer and maker community.
Oh.
And then
thank you.
He's curious if you still have your DeLorean.
No, I do not. That was a horrible mistake. Probably one of the larger many mistakes I've made. But it was fun. It was fun while it lasted. But yeah, I sold it. I sold it a few years ago because I just you can't drive it around LA, and people would run me off the road because I blended in with the concrete, and it was rough. It was real rough.
All right. Well, it is kind of a lifestyle choice, I guess.
Yes, yeah, it was a mistake, but that's okay. It was just like a quarter life crisis. It's fine.
The other thing his actual question, he has a bunch of leftover Epsilon, which is an epoxy for sealing foam. He has a bunch left over, and he's curious if there are any other uses for it other than sealing foam. I imagine anything you could use epoxy for. You could use it as an adhesive, although it's got a fairly long cure time. You could probably use it to laminate fiberglass, I would guess. I think if you're going to make a jacket mold or something, you could probably use that. I bet it would work. Anything you could use epoxy for. So give it a try, Terry. Let us know how it works out. All right.
I wonder if you could cast with it.
That's not a bad idea. Mix it up and pour it in a silicone mold. See what happens. Yeah. You got homework, Terry.
Yeah.
Try it out. He's got some small molds that would be perfect. Some small circular molds.
See what it makes.
Okay, Nick from Modulus Props, another one of our regulars. When designing a costume, do you consider how it might look in a photograph? For example, the texture or how glossy it is, or if it's got a matte finish. Does that all go into consideration as far as how it will photograph? I know that I tend to think about how something is going to photograph, because a good example is if you're at a convention and it's kind of dark, people will take a picture of you and they'll use the flash on their phone or the flash on their camera. And
right.
if you have a good example is something like EL wire, the flash will just wash it right out. You won't even see it. So that's why I prefer to use LEDs. They're much, much brighter. But also, like, the eyes on my Draugr costume are blue discs with LEDs behind them. So if someone takes a picture with a flash, you won't see the LEDs, but at least you'll still see those blue discs in replacement of their eyes. So that's something I think about when I'm making my costume as far as how it will photograph. How about you, Holly?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think about color and things like that, and like shininess. Like, like a long time ago, when I had some like fiberglass pieces on my shepherd costume that had this carbon fiber sticker on it, and it's the pieces that had that carbon fiber sticker, like it was pretty matte looking, so I just like hit it with a gloss finish, and I think it made it look a little bit more like spacey. So like, even though sometimes I put things that have like matte finishes, sometimes I'll make them look glossy just so they look a little bit more unrealistic, even though that's not the point, but it's so they look like just kind of cool and shiny. I know, but yeah, texture, like I love making stuff look old and things like that. So if it looks new, like if it looks new and you took a picture of it and it looks brand new, like I'll usually make sure it looks like it's a little bit worn. So
yeah. Sometimes you have to exaggerate what you're doing on the costume so that it doesn't look washed out, especially if it's going to get hit with a flash.
Yeah, exactly.
I need to pause for a moment and look at the chat, because apparently we're getting Ross rated right now.
Oh my god! Yeah, Ross just finished streaming.
Hello, all of the new folks. Welcome to the Punished Props live stream. We do this weekly live stream. This is Prop Live Q&A, where we usually have one of our wonderful friends, in this case Holly, to hang out, and we answer prop and costume making Q&A type stuff. So stick around if that seems like something you'd be interested in. Thank you for joining us, all of you hundreds of wonderful people. Give us a follow if that seems like the sort of thing you'd like to do. Also on Tuesdays, we do live streams from our shop where we build stuff from video games. We build like props and costumes and stuff. Actually, you know our buddy April, she was in here on Tuesday.
Making stuff.
Yeah, we built a big Viking shield for her, of course, out of foam. So
awesome.
That was on Tuesday. We put a shorter edited version of that on our YouTube channel. If you want to check that out, check it out. It's youtube.com/punishedprops. Also worth a subscription, in my humble opinion. Thanks all the new folks, and we're gonna go grab our next question. This one comes from Patrick. Patrick is a fairly novice builder, but pretty good at fabrication. Whenever I start to paint my props, things end up bad. Do you have any tips on how to get better at painting props and costumes, especially ones made out of foam? Oh, that's a good one. Any painting tips from Holly?
Oh man. So it's so funny because Ted and I were just talking about this the other day. Like there's always different stuff that like all kinds of different like chemicals that you can put on foam. Like there's just so many different things that I've tried.
Yeah.
And I'm always willing to try something new. So he was just showing me like two other new things where I was like, oh, I have to try this because I always feel like there can always be something better to put on it. I don't know why that is. So like I think it's like just what you're most comfortable with. Like recently, I mean, I'm always like, hey, I'm just gonna slap some Plasti Dip on there if I'm in a rush, and then I just kind of paint it with acrylics. I mean, I think for painting in general to make things look like really good, I always tend to airbrush a little bit. Like if I have time, obviously, I'll get my little airbrush out and do some shading, and that always makes it look nice. But I mean, it just really is how you're comfortable painting, I think. And how you like, I mean, just practice. That's pretty much it. Practice and mess up and practice again, and you're still unhappy with it, but just go out in the world and just do it anyway.
Yeah. What I usually tell people to do is to go to the secondhand store, go to Goodwill and buy a bunch of like toy guns for really cheap and practice on those.
Yeah.
Because they're cheap, and then what you do is you paint a thing, and when it's done, just give it away to a friend and then work on the next thing. Just keep iterating, keep getting better, keep practicing.
Totally, yeah, for sure.
Thank you. That question came to us from Patrick. Next one, another one of our regulars, Corium9, wants to know, almost half the year is over and con season is in full swing. So, how are those goals coming? Yes. Every year I write down my goals, and they're right here.
Oh, wow. That's so efficient.
Oh, yeah. No, I have my goals right here in my office, and I have it in my shop and in the bathroom to remind myself. Here's a good one. We were working on... We had 0 Twitch followers starting this year, so we weren't on Twitch. My goal was to get 5,000 Twitch followers, and we are currently at 2,000. So we have 6 months to get 3,000 more.
You're doing it.
We're on the road. We're on a good road.
You're on the road.
Yeah, we are. Let's see. I'm looking at some of the other goals. Publish 2 books. I've published 1 book. I'm halfway there.
Nice.
So we're doing pretty good. 150. We were at 65,000 YouTube subscribers. My goal was 150, and we're at 90 now.
Nice.
So we're getting there. We're getting there. Maybe not quite halfway there, but we're getting there. The goals are going pretty good. Did you have any goals for this year, Holly?
Oh man, I should set goals because that's like a real efficient, smart person thing to do. I just kind of this year I just wanted to make some more stuff, which I have. Like I've already made a couple costumes. So I'm just kind of looking forward to just like every year I tend to make one big like silly costume, like Blathers and Brewster.
Yeah.
Like so I still have my Moonkin to make, so I just kind of have to like start going on that. So that's my goal is to just
that's a fantastic goal because I know you've been wanting to do that for a long time.
Yeah, and I really and it's just fun and silly, and like I just like doing at least making one silly costume with like a silly video to go with it. So that's kind of my goal, and just keep making stuff like that's to keep doing it. That's always good.
Awesome. Quick note, too, for all the wonderful new people who are throwing us a follow. Looks like our bot is trying to catch up. We don't have alerts set up for the Q&A, but I do want to thank each and every one of you for throwing us a follow. You guys are awesome.
Yay!
Helping me get towards my goal.
Yeah, your goals that are also in your bathroom. I love that.
It's a reminder every day I go in there and I can see how I'm not working towards them, and I have to remind myself.
Be nice to yourself. I mean, you are looking at them while in the bathroom.
Yeah.
You can't make props in the bathroom. Let's be honest.
No. All right, next question comes from Albert. Albert has 2 shoulder strap sections of 2mm EVA foam on my armor that will probably be bending a lot. I was wondering how flexible Plasti Dip stays compared to latex, and what are some of the best kinds of finishing paints for foam that retain flexibility. He's also curious if I use Super 77 when I put down my latex. I don't, actually. I put it right on the foam, and it seems to be fine.
I get real afraid when I do latex. I paint the foam with Barge first.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
That's only if I need it to like last the apocalypse, though. Like if I need apocalypse lasting amounts of latex, that's what I do.
Yeah. I would say that Plasti Dip, for like anything that's going to flex or bend at all, the Plasti Dip will crease. It's not going to stay flexible the way that latex will. That's why I prefer to use latex. Also, 2 millimeters is a little thin for anything. Shoulder straps, I would reinforce them somehow. It's a little bit thin. You could run some nylon webbing behind them, or just use a thicker piece of foam.
Yeah, I made a doublet once out of, I think that's the thin stuff. Yeah, it's like 2 millimeter.
Yeah.
I made like a whole doublet out of that once and just latexed it, and I did like a couple layers of that. It worked amazing. It turned out awesome. It looked just like leather. It was so much fun.
Sweet. Yeah, you could even use Plasti Dip on a piece of foam, crease it on purpose, and then paint it to look like really beat up leather.
Yeah.
So there you go. Some things for you to try there, Albert. All right, next one comes from Marcus. He says, I think I may have discovered a filler for foam. People like to try and do, like, you know how with more rigid materials you can use Bondo to fill in gaps and stuff. People seem to really want something like that for foam. The challenge is that it's flexible, and Bondo is not. He's pointing out now, I don't know that he's tried it. Let's see here. He did. He used it on a hunter knife, and it seems like it'll flex pretty well. That's kind of cool. So the stuff he's saying, now again, I haven't tried this, but I want to show Floracraft smooth finish paintable coating. Okay,
that's like I have some of that stuff, but it's called a sculptor coat.
Okay.
It's like the same kind of stuff. It's like a theatrical gluey kind of cover.
Yeah.
But that could totally work for sure.
Cool. Well, that's something definitely worth trying. If people are out there looking for something to try out, then Floracraft smooth finish.
I also I've used Bondo, not rigid Bondo, but the makeup Bondo, which is Prosate and Cabasil.
Oh, yeah.
That too. And that works amazing. That fills it up and is super bendy.
Cool. The quick seal that Ted likes. That's pretty good as well.
Yeah, that stuff too. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Marcus. Our next one comes in from Wade. And Wade wants to know, I'm making a Warhammer 40k Space Marine. I wanted to use ball joints on the shoulders. Where can I get some or something similar? I'm not quite sure what he means. I wonder if the shoulders are going to be above his shoulders, so they need joints somehow.
Yeah. Shoulders are always tricky, especially for things like Warhammer and Warcraft. It's just like the worst.
Yeah.
It's like you kind of have to just make them fake, like just make something that isn't actually functional and just kind of make it look like it.
Yeah, I will say if the shoulders are going to be above yours, it doesn't necessarily even need to be a ball joint. You could attach the shoulder and the arm part with a piece of nylon webbing, and it's going to flex and bend around the pivot just fine. It doesn't necessarily need to be a ball joint. So long as like the shoulder overlaps the arm a lot and you don't see where they join, you could just use a piece of cloth or a piece of nylon webbing. That should do the trick. Other solutions I've seen for that, so the example I always go to is Gary Sterley, because he's a wizard. He did this giant, awesome War Machine costume, not War Machine, Warhammer. If you go look up Gary...
I got to see that one in person.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It's pretty crazy. I believe his shoulders are in the actual shoulders of the costume. But if you go to Gary Sterley Studios, he's got a whole album showing how he put all that together. So that's worth checking out.
Yeah, it's super cool.
There you go, Wade. There's a couple things for you to try. Next one here. This one is from Create Cosplay. I'm having trouble weathering my props. I'm trying to paint it on and wipe it away, but with acrylic paints, I'm running into difficulties. Should I paint and clear coat it first, then weather? Or am I just a fool for using acrylics? A couple things, like, yes, clear coating first usually helps. It's not always necessary. But not all acrylic paints are created equal. And I found that some paints will actually dry faster than others and kind of leave like a line like on the edge when you wipe it off. And I prefer not to use those. I actually use cheap Liquitex Basics paint for weathering because they're kind of crappy and they don't dry real fast. You can also thin it with water to help out. Do you usually use acrylic paints for weathering, Holly?
Yeah, and it really depends. It depends on what I'm weathering. So like I'll usually water them down, and I use a lot of chip brushes cut off to do like splatters and all that kind of nonsense, because if it's watered down and you're splattering it naturally, it ends up looking really cool. I did a really fun effect the other day where I watered down some paint and put it as like on my strict staff, where I like watered it and then just like hit it on the ground, and it just like splattered amazingly. And I was like, oh, I have to do this more often with foam because I can just hit it on the ground. So if you pool the paint in and just kind of like whack it, it kind of makes it look super cool. Fun, exciting tip that makes things look fun. Do you want to try that out? But yeah, I just usually use acrylics. If I'm doing something that needs to stay, I'll use the golden acrylics because those ones are super nice. And I'll just use the cheap ones. I'll use whatever I have, like even if it's just like, I don't know what they're called, like country time acrylics or whatever. If I just need to make it look nasty, like I'll just use whatever I've got.
Yeah. Evil Effects in the chat says, water down the paints more, wipe faster. It's a good tip.
Or hit it on the ground.
Yeah, or throw it on the ground. I usually use, like I said, just those cheaper acrylic paints. But if I'm doing anything really mechanical and I have time to let it dry, like days to let it dry, I'll use oil paints. If it's supposed to look greasy and grimy. And
that's cool.
Because oil paints take so long to dry, you've got a lot of time to smear it and play with it. So for like Raised Blaster, I used oil paints for that because they look awesome. Looks
Nice.
so cool. Let's see here. That one came to us from Create Cosplay. Next one from Oni117. I'm looking to pick up both a critter gun for latex sealing and an airbrush, but I was wondering what particular air compressor I should get. Do I need to get different compressors for each, or is there one that will power both sufficiently enough? What do you have? What's your compressor solution, Holly?
I just upgraded. I don't know what it's called. It's just like it's a Dewalt, which is usually good. And it's a quiet compressor.
I have the same one.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just upgraded to that one, and it's been great. And you can use that for airbrush and critter guns, like it, because it's not like a giant, loud monstrosity.
Yeah, I specifically bought that one because it was quiet. It's not a cheap one.
No, I think it was like 200 something.
Yeah, let's see. DeWalt, a quiet compressor. There. Oh, Amazon, work with me here.
The one I had before was not an expensive one, and it was the sound of a stampeding herd of hippos.
Yeah.
On top of trash cans.
So the one.
Like, stop! I can't.
So I've got it up on the screen here. It's $220. In my opinion, worth every penny because it's not stupid loud.
Yeah.
But I bought that one because my old one had died. The old one was a Husky brand compressor. I bought it on Black Friday sale for like $60 at Lowe's.
I think mine was the same one.
Yeah.
I think I had one. Yeah, because I like bought it for like $60, and it lasted me like 5 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just too loud. It was like it's too loud.
Well, that one came with an airbrush too. So
nice.
It came with a bunch of stuff. It wasn't a good airbrush, but I still have it. It's a crappy airbrush, but I still use it. So you don't have to break the bank to get a good compressor. Now you can get a specific airbrush compressor, and we have one of those too, and those are super, super quiet.
Yeah.
But like 9 times out of 10, I just use that DeWalt one because it's always plugged in. It's always got air in it. It's just my basic all-purpose shop compressor.
Yeah, I have one of the little airbrushing ones too, but also it's obviously not as powerful. So you sometimes you just kind of have to like just wait.
Yep. Thank you, Oni117, for the question. We got a handful more here. Sarah G says, when you finish a prop for a cosplay, How do you store it around your house? What if it's too large to fit into the average storage bin or too long?
There you go. That's I'm trying to see if you can see it. Oh yeah, there's that. Blathers and Brewster just chilling on top of my shelf. I have another shelf over here with all of my masks on it at the top. And yeah, I have half of the costumes just in boxes that are just on the floor.
Yep.
So I don't have an answer for that. I don't know. They're just lying around my house. So they're inside, they're here, I have costumes everywhere.
Yeah, we have, so behind me, like I have a wall of props, and I've got that giant axe, and that thing just leans against the wall wherever. But then underneath there, you can see those crates. There's 3 of them. There's Lord Shaxx just sort of stuffed in there. I think it's Shaxx, Draugr, and then the other one is probably Diablo. And then there's books, obviously, crap loads of books. There's more costumes under there. So yeah, we just dedicate a portion of our living situation to that.
Yeah, I think I have the Atish we made just like next to my computer in my office, like with 2 other stabs that are just in there. So I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, and then our living room is just the walls are plastered with prop weapons, space guns, and swords and stuff. So that's our solution.
Yeah, it's not ideal, but I mean, it's cool. Everyone's like, look at all this crazy stuff. And it's like, yeah. Yep.
Yes, we're crazy people. No, we don't care. That's the answer, Sarah. Stop caring.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, Sam, Bio Cosplay Sam, one of our regulars, he wants to know, how would you go about making a long, thin sword like Genji's from Overwatch? Would you go with foam and make it wider than the source material, or just stick with other materials when it comes to swords and similar thin props?
I would just throw some Sintra or something in it, some kind of plastic in the center, and then just put the foam around it.
You could do that. That or aluminum would be pretty good. You can get
aluminum,
yeah. You could probably even bend that to get that curve.
Oh, totally, yeah. Yeah, I always forget that you can just cut aluminum just like plastic. Like
aluminum is like slightly more, it's not even more, it's kind of like cutting wood.
Yeah, I always forget that because I always just use plastic, but you can totally, just throw some aluminum in there and then it'd be perfect and look super cool.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even need very much foam on the outside. You could do like a couple of pieces of 6mm foam. So at most it would be about half an inch thick with maybe a piece of aluminum in the middle.
Totally.
So that wouldn't be too bad. You could probably
Genji kills me all the time and it makes me so mad. So I always play Bastion because I love Bastion and I love birds and I love being a turret.
I saw a great comic where it was Bastion just shooting the crap out of someone and then they
and the bird was like killing everyone.
Yes.
I saw that too. Ross like immediately showed me that and I was like, oh my god. I have the skin with the pigeon with the monocle. It's perfect.
That's great.
Love it.
There you go, Sam. Problem solved. You're welcome, buddy. All right, we have just a couple more here. Joseph wants to know, he's first time going to San Diego ComiCon this year. He's been to smaller conventions, but he would like some advice for a large convention like San Diego ComiCon. What do you have, Holly? Because I know you've been plenty of times. What is your advice for a newcomer going to SDCC for the first time?
Well, last year was my 10th year in a row for Comic-Con. 10 years. My first year going, I bought tickets there, if that tells you anything. Yeah, so Comic-Con now is very different from when I started going, and it's just like, there's so many people. Honestly, there's just so many people, and it depends on if you're going in cosplay, really. Like, it depends on really, like, what are your goals? Like, do you want to see panels? Do you want to cosplay? Do you want to like hang out with people or do you want to walk the floor? Because you can really only do one a day. Yeah. Because it's so crowded and so big now. You kind of just have to pick what you really want. And you really can't even, the panels are so crazy. Like you don't want to have to wait in line for a panel in cosplay because you'll be so miserable. And you really don't want to have to walk around the floor and then go to a panel or then go. It's just like, so really just like pick and choose what you want to do. I'd say like pick one thing a day you really want to get done. and then kind of just play it by ear, because you might run into something and be like, oh, this one panel's empty. Maybe I'll check that out. Like, because there's just so many people. You just kind of need to go with whatever happens. Like, don't overbook yourself. I think that's my best advice. Just kind of book one thing and then do whatever you want the rest of the time and just kind of have fun.
Very good. Great advice from a veteran. I'll be going, this will be my third time going this year. And Brittany's coming this year too, which is very exciting.
Nice. Awesome. I don't know if I'm going this year yet. I haven't figured that out. I know. It's so stressful. Like, I used to, like, it's just so stressful for me now. It's so crazy and it's so crowded. I'm just like, so we'll see. I might go. I might.
You might. Sure. All right. Okay.
Definitely going to BlizzCon though.
Yes, we'll be there too. Good. We got our tickets and everything.
Nice. Still working on that.
Yeah. What I like to do at San Diego ComiCon is I just make a list of people I know are going to be there that I want to see, whether those people have a booth or if they're just around. And then I make a list on my phone and I just make sure I go see all those people, because usually it's people I don't get to see, but at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
I have no interest in going to the panels. I know some people that's their main thing. I have no interest in buying stuff there, except last time I did buy R2-D2, the little R2-D2 who's hiding back here.
Aw.
That was an impulse. I walked by the Sideshow Collectibles booth, and the woman was demonstrating R2 and all his bits and toys, and I was like, nah, sold. I'll take it. But I don't try and like go by the exclusives. I don't try and get into panels or anything. But I do just try and see all my friends and go see the booths that are really interesting. So Sideshow Collectibles or the Prop Store of London, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And then a handful of other booths that have things like screen used props or models. There was the Eagle 5 from Spaceballs Winnebago model at Comic-Con last year. It was my favorite thing I saw the whole time. That's incredible.
Awesome.
So that's what I try and do while I'm there. Yeah. And if they have the bridge from the Enterprise, go get your picture taken in Picard's chair if you can. It's worth it. Thank you, Joseph. A whole bunch of stuff for you to try out.
Yeah.
All right, we have time.
Also bring snacks.
Bring snacks. Water. Very good, very good. Yeah. Water. Eat and drink water.
Yeah.
I guess. All right, let's do one more here. This one comes from Hamarek. I'm working on my Firebender soldier costume. Awesome.
Nice.
I'm starting on the shoes and the boots, but I'm not exactly sure if I should use 2 layers of craft foam for mobility or just regular floor mat stuff. What do you think? Usually, I imagine you're building them on top of a pair of shoes, which is what I would do. But I guess durability is really the only concern. I'm trying to think if I have an example of a shoe on hand, but I don't.
Yeah, shoes are always tricky. They're tricky because you need to walk on them.
Yeah.
But I've never had problems putting foam on top, like just using Barge and putting it on top of a shoe and then just latexing it.
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
If you seal it, depending on how you seal it, if you seal it with lots of latex, then it should be plenty durable.
Oh, yeah.
But Barge is meant to glue shoes together.
Yeah, it's 4 shoes.
Yeah, so that'll work out. And then he said 2 layers of craft foam, depending on the flexibility. I would say like 1/4 inch or 6mm craft foam should be good. And I've even made shoe type things or coverings where I just put the foam on there and they just got beat up during the day and I didn't care.
I've done that too. And like if it starts falling apart, I just glue it back together. And I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's your shoes. Like if someone's judging your shoes, they need to calm down.
That's right. When I was, what was it? My brother made a, what was it? Mega Man. I think it was his Mega Man, or no, it was Dragon Age. When we were at PAX, I think you were there, Holly. We were both of the mages. He was the rogue, and I was the mage. Yeah. Not mages. Hawk. There we go. Yeah. We stepped out of. He had rigid Sintra shoe coverings for his armor. And he stepped out of the hotel and took a quick step to get across the street real fast, and his toe things just went pew pew, just went flying out. So having flexible foot coverings is a bonus.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like their feet. paint them so they look good in pictures.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah. Fantastic. Cool. Well, thank you. That last one came to us from Hammerek. Thank you for the question. Thank you, everyone else, for your wonderful questions today. Thanks for coming and hanging out, especially all you new folks that Ross sent over here. If you guys enjoyed the show, we do this every single week. Prop Live, answering your prop and costume making questions. Holly, thanks so much for hanging out.
No, thanks for having me. I'm sorry I had technical issues and got stuck in traffic and had to deal with birds.
Totally fine. That is
so many things in my life.
just how we roll here on the internet. I guess we can just send people to hollyconrad.com for everything, right? Is it all over there?
Yeah, or my YouTube is Commander Holly, and my Twitch is Commander Holly too. So I'm gonna start doing more creative streams of making fun little. I just love making like weird little creatures.
Yes.
So that's because it's fun for me. It's
Like this
not
guy?
complicated like a costume. Yeah, I love making stuff like that. And so I'm gonna start making maybe some little art dolls and just little creatures and stuff just for fun, just because it makes me happy. So getting back into the making stuff groove, and eventually I'm gonna stream making Khadgar and making the Moonkin too. So
That sounds fantastic.
you want to follow me doing that? It's gonna be Commander Holly everywhere, and yeah, my website pretty much has all those links too. So it's all there.
Awesome. Very, very good. You know I'll be tuning in for that for sure. It's very exciting.
You'll see me like burning myself with the glue gun and just, just the usual.
Well, thank you again, and thanks everyone for showing up for Prop Live this week. We will be back again next week answering your difficult questions. And until then, go make some stuff because it's pretty great.
Yay!
Yay!
Bye.
The end!